Oi, oi. The time has come for the first Cheltenham AntePost bet for the 2023-2024 season. Now, you may, loyal followers, be asking, Dave, you said you weren't doing AntePost bet anymore. Why are you putting a bet on this early in the season? Well, I'll tell you for why, right? I'm doing a bit of AntePost betting. I can't get on the same accounts as I used to. I'm going to have a handful of reasonable bets. I would class them as reasonable bets myself, just to see how we go. I used to dip into AntePost betting when I first started it with a handful of horses, did very well from that. Then we all know the same system of backing multiple horses, potentially taking advantage of cash out, news, all that sort of stuff. But I'm sort of reverting back to my old ways. The day-to-day punting will stay as it is, mostly on the weekend and the graded stuff. But there is a bet that it needs to be struck. You might have been able to tell from the thumbnail who it is. Drop a comment in the comments below if you manage to guess it or who you think the horse is before I officially announce it. Speaking of officially announcing, I am doing a 10 to follow horses list for gg.co.uk. I will be putting a video out on the channel as well in the wake of that, but I'll share a link to that. There's a bit of noise going around on Twitter at the moment on my page, talking about some guesses for that. Spoiler alert, this horse is in the 10 to follow, so there'll be 9 more. But if you go onto the Twitter page and you start whapping this horse's name in there, then I'll send you a handful more horses, which I will share again in another video a little bit later on. But I'm going to give something away, like some freebies, in terms of like a few extra horses to follow. Anywho, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already, because I will be putting out that 10 to follow. We've got some previews coming up soon. Ranting and Racing every Monday with Jamie, where we can get the chance to let off some steam. We'll be talking about the weekend action and thoughts for going forward. We'll chuck in some AntePost bets in there too, as the season goes along, I'm sure. October meeting at Cheltenham starts next week, so Thursday planning to go live. We've got a really special guest coming on, a very knowledgeable punter, decent sized stake punter, if that's something that lures you in a little bit more, but really solid AntePost punter, quite well known in a few spots, so really excited about that. And Jamie will be joining us for that too. We're going to go live on Thursday, so make sure you're penciled in for that. 2 minutes in, enough waffling. The bet is Teahupoo in the stayers, 12 to 1. As I say, you might have been able to tell from the thumbnail anyway, but this is a race, right, where when you look at the AntePost races, you look at all of them, you try and get excited about a few of them. Really, you want to try and go for the race that's got the least amount of unknowns in it. You want to pick a horse that has no possible option to go anywhere else. You want a horse that's got some proven Cheltenham form, and you also potentially want to pick a race that might cut up and there could be question marks about market rivals. So how about I pitch this to you guys? We've got Teahupoo, who came third in a stayers hurdle last year. Let's be honest, he came second. The Dashel Drasher interference, I know it got reversed, was marginal. He was beaten 3/4 of a length, admittedly, by old man Sire de Burley. But that was a hell of a run, right? His first spin over 3 miles came before in the Galmoy, when he beat Somerville Boy in an absolute canter. It was on slow, bad ground, wasn't really much of a race, but it did at least show that he tanks and stays. I was really impressed with that run at Cheltenham. Now, we have to remember he was just a 6-year-old then. And given the fact that he was the first horse to go and top all Honeysuckle, I know Classical Dream was in second, so he's up there as one that finished in front of Honeysuckle too. But you compare where he was before the season prior, 2 miles running behind Honeysuckle a couple of times, good distances, and what he's done last season. Those RPRs, right, 168 in that Hatton's Grace. He ran 168 again in that Galmoy hurdle, regardless of running against anything. 163 at Cheltenham, and it was 157 at Punchestown, where we have a different jock on board. Not that that should have made too much of a difference. Jumping wasn't that great, but he stayed on stoutly at the end. It's not as much of a test at Punchestown. Classical Dream was fully primed up for it. I'm not saying it was a long season for him, but he ran January, March and April, right? 6-year-old, he was taken on a 9-year-old. Imagine a 6-year-old horse, 3 years junior to a Classical Dream, getting within 3 lengths. We know Classical Dream is a solid horse. Now, talking of Classical Dream, you may be asking, well, Dave, you like Classical Dream, you talk about him so much, why aren't you backing him for the stayers? He's going to be 10. And we know Cider Verde proved that age is just a number, but Classical Dream has had 2 pokes at the stayers hurdle. I kind of fancied him a little bit both times round. Sent a favourite in 2022, beaten 5 lengths fair and square, then goes and duly dots up at Punchestown. Last year was 34 lengths behind Cider Verde, then duly dots up at Punchestown. So not saying that he can't do it at Cheltenham. Cheltenham is tough, more of a stamina-laden problem. And I think as well, maybe he wasn't sound for Cheltenham this year. I thought Willie's not going to send a horse there if he's not fully cooked. I don't think he would have just sent him there for the run. I think they may have got him there, but I don't know whether there was something to work on for Punchestown. But regardless of that, right, Classical Dream, has probably peaked and will be on his way down. His last time he ran 168 as an RPR was December 2021. That Fairy House run behind Tiopu, we got the same mark, 168, so that was a neck, so that's a much more recent one, but it was 162 that he won Punchestown with, right? So look, Classical Dream, we've sort of guessed, as far as I'm concerned, we've proved, right? Twice he's running the stairs hurdle, he ain't going to win it, so let's ignore that. If we do also consider the price that he is, Classical Dream is 20's top price, Tiopu is 12 to 1. I think that's mega. Impere Pass does form a little bit of the market, 12 to 1 top price, as low as 8 to 1, but Willie Mullins is not going to run Impere Pass in a stairs hurdle. This horse looks an absolute monster. It looks like he's built for fences. Chasing will be his game at some point, but they're going hurdling, and they're going to go hurdling against Constitution Hill. As far as I'm concerned, that is 100% guarantee what's going to happen. Now, Willie Mullins Stable Tour will be coming out after this video. I don't care even if he says that he might send him to a stairs hurdle. It's not happening. I don't want to see a Ballymore winner stepping up to go and win a stairs hurdle. The traditionally good Ballymores that we haven't maybe had so much in recent years have gone back to 2 miles and excelled. Forheen the Machine going and winning a champion hurdle. Simon Sig going back and picking up an Arkle. Like, that's the direction the good horse should go, and Impere Pass is a speedy one. Of course, he's a bit of a question mark, but why would you take a question mark horse that's as low as 8 to 1 when you can get the 12 to 1 Tiopu, who's a baby, who's proven it, who's only going to get better, who's probably going to win the stairs hurdle? Now, of course, there's one more fly in the ointment, but is he really a fly in the ointment? It's Gaelic Warrior. We got stuck in right for the Boodles. I made that strong case for him at the mark being an absolute shoe-in, made the case from a price perspective that he should be 6 to 4, goes off about that price, 13 to 8 for the festival, gets beat short head, the right-hander jump in. It just wasn't a pretty look, was it? I will never forget the fact, right? This horse is a year's junior to Tiopu, but I'll never forget the fact that he got beat in a handicap at Cheltenham of 129. And maybe I'm leaning on that a little bit too much. But look, he was good last season. But he was good last season going right-handed, bar the Cheltenham run was quite good behind Impere Pass, if Impere Pass is a monster. But we'll see how that pans out, right? I'm sure he is. The Leopardstown handicap hurdle that he won, where it will say in the comments comfortably, look, he was ridden out, he ran well, but he ran off of pretty much levels with Ballyadam. Ballyadam was maybe 4 and a bit, 5 lengths behind. Ran well enough at Cheltenham, but that was off a 147 in a county. And I know Gaelic Warrior is allowed to progress, but that was over 2 miles, right? If you're a horse that lugs right, jumps right, hangs right, over 2 miles, you might be able to get away with it off a handicap mark of 143, like he did. You do that for 3 miles round Cheltenham, you have no chance of staying the full trip. So yes, he won at Punchestown in the novice hurdle. Yes, he trounced some horses that had some form going into the race. But let's not forget, right, I put up Affidel Fury for the Albert Bartlett as a bit of a live wire. We can go, I don't want to dwell on that too much in this video, but he was put in there as a horse, right? And there was a case to be made for him at Cheltenham, and he goes and runs there, but he was 66 to 1 at Cheltenham. So I know he's a 6 to 1 poke in number running against Gaelic Warrior here, but that was based off of one run that he was given that much a mark. He was £10 inferior anyway. He was beaten 10 lengths. I know that Gaelic Warrior won easy that day. He's clearly a beast of a horse, but maybe, just maybe, he really does need to go right-handed. Classical Dream doesn't need to go right-handed, but has been better at Punchestown. Maybe the same would be true for a Gaelic Warrior. I know they'll prize him for Cheltenham. He has had 2 seconds at Cheltenham Festival, so it's hard to knock him in that respect, but he will not be able to get away with hanging right, jumping right in a stairs hurdle. So Willie Mullins could somehow magically fix that. If Gaelic Warrior starts going straight, then I'm terrified, right? He's got a chance. But I feel like we want to watch him run. We'll see what he does. Whether they will send him left-hander or not beforehand, I don't know. And who knows? But I think there will be layers about him, so he's going to be a bit of a prize. I only really see those as main dangers, right? Marie's Rock might step up. I don't trust her to run consistently enough, and I don't think she's quite good enough to beat Tiopu. I just think the race is going to cut up. So there are only a few horses that I would expect that would get there. There's only a few horses that I would expect that are worthy of a mention for the stairs hurdle. So Tiopu, for me, 12 to 1's mega. I think this horse could easily be shorter. Impare Pass is taking up a tiny bit of that market. Tiopu, for me, should be a 5 or 6 to 1 poke this far out for the festival. You could make a case that Gaelic Warrior's price isn't terrible, but you're taking a bit of a punt, but I don't see why Tiopu needs to be as big as he is when the rest of the race is dire. This is his division to stamp his authority on it. Rob Akerson of Rob Kerr said that this horse is stronger this year, a bigger horse. They had no thought in their mind of going over fences. He's definitely going for this. I know people talk about the slow ground maybe being something that he needs, but he doesn't see it as a problem, and neither do I. So the first AntePost bet for 2024 Cheltenham Festival is Tuiapu, who will win the stayers. I've chucked £100 on it. I'll stick that slip up now at the end of the video so you can see that I've done that. And I'll see you guys again soon. Please do like, comment and subscribe.